Y'all drink enough water? That should be one of your goals. Drink more water. Okay, let's get this party started. All right, so like I mentioned, this is an interactive class. So I'm gonna be going through the content and then I'm gonna be pausing to give you guys some time to fill out the things so that we can talk through them, so that when we're done with the class, you've got at least a good starting point and then you'll be able to finish it later. And then if you want, we've got a group coaching call, I think right before Thanksgiving. I think I moved it for right before Thanksgiving. And then we could finish up any, questions or issues. We can also take it back to the group as well, and go from there. Okay, hold on. I got to ping one person who absolutely is supposed to be on this thing, and I don't see her. So give me a second. Let me pull up the ping line. Hold on, I gotta find her. Okay. Let me just see what she says in the So, welcome to Setting Goals for Success. This is our goal setting workshop for 2020, where we're going to get through identifying and also creating action plans for the goals that we set. All right, so here's an overview of the steps that we're going to go through today. We're going to go and define what your emotional temperature is for particular goal sets. I'm going to talk about what that means. We're going to set the intention for the goals that you set. We're going to look at what are the outcome and processes, what blockers and constraints that you may have that prevents you from successfully completing those, so that we know what they are, so that we can remove those blockers and constraints. We're going to identify what do you need in order to help facilitate the implementation or the achievement of your goal. Then we're going to talk about how to create action plans. And then we're going to get those goals on your schedule so that there's no reason that you don't finish them. So there's always, I always like to think about the fact that people think, okay, well, all I need to do with the goal is I just need to set it and magically it's going to happen. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. So that's the reason why we have these sort of 7 steps to get through your goal setting. All right, so you guys already know what this is, but I'm going to go over it. What is a goal? It's an observable and measurable end result, right? So it's not just something that you say, I want to lose weight, right? It's I want to lose weight. I want to lose, 50 pounds by June, right? That you intend to achieve or accomplish. That also includes some sort of time frame. So a goal without a time frame is just like just wishing for it. A goal that's not measurable is not tangible. So you want to make sure that your goals have these characteristics about them. So we're going to talk about how to make sure that that happens. Why do you need goals? Well, of course, it helps you focus. It allows you to identify what resources you need, and that resources could be in the form of money or people. It allows you to manage your time. It allows you to make quick decisions, right? If I am going to be losing weight, 50 pounds, right? Then I'm eating this Sunday. My name is Sunday, eating a Sunday, right? Eating a Sunday, there's a clear decision. I shouldn't do that, right? Because it's against my goal and it's against the objective that I'm doing, right? It allows you to track, right? If I'm going to lose 50 pounds, I can track my progress. It allows you to also be creative, right? So if you know exactly what it is that you are set out to do, your mind is able to focus on those and create creative solutions or ideas around whatever it is that you have set. And then it also is great for communication, right? So when your girlfriends are asking you to go out to brunch every Sunday for the rest of the year, you could say, no, girl, unless we're going to some vegan health place, I can't go because I'm trying to lose weight, right? So communication becomes easier when it's very clear about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And that's communication not only to your friends, but to the people that you work with, also to yourself, right? It just helps you be very clear about what it is that you have to do, how you work your time, what you need to decide on, and all of the items that we've just gone over. All right, so in your workbook, there is this step 1, which is your emotional temperature around these 5 things. And so what I want you to do is I want you to mark how you feel about each one of these areas, right? So from a scale of 1 to 10, I'm sorry, 1 to 5, 1 being extremely dissatisfied, 5 being extremely satisfied, how do you feel about these areas of your life, right? So health, business, friends, family, personal passions, and spiritual. All right, I'm going to give you guys about, since there's not that many of you guys on the call, I'm going to give you about 3 minutes. 3 minutes should be enough time, you think? Ladies? For my stopwatch. Yep. 3 minutes? All right. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to fill this out, and we're going to talk about what this means. All right, hold on. I'm setting my clock. Please hold, please hold.
Sundey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It's Cynthia. These on these, do you want us to just put rate them like each one like from like 1 to 5, or can one have 5 and the other one have 2 or 1? Or
exactly right. So each of them have their own number.
Okay.
So health, you how do you feel about your health, right? So you're going to rate that 1 to 5.
Okay.
Right? You can have a different rating.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, I'm starting now. All right.
So one of them had 2.
One of them had 2 numbers?
Yes, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 and only 5. We're only able to choose from 1 to 5.
No, that doesn't make sense. I'm lost. No, it doesn't. You can have multiple, like you can have like business can be a 3, friends can be a 3. It doesn't have to be.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, you can have the same rating for any one of them.
Okay, my apologies. I understood the other way around.
Okay, and I also am doing this too. How are you guys? Are you almost done?
I'm done.
TT, you done?
I'm done also.
Okay, so am I. I did it as well. All right, so what this does is, so for health, you should have a number. You can have the same number all around. What you'd sort of do is you plot the number where you are. That's kind of hard to do. I know if you're using the online version, it's kind of hard to do that. But if you print this out and you plot it, you'll get sort of a diagram of where you are, your emotional temperature is in each of these areas. And so we just did that part of it. So what this means is, and I like to kind of go back over these areas, is based on the rating that you gave yourself for each of these areas, 1 being extremely dissatisfied, and 5 being extremely satisfied, this is the order of which you should rank your goals in terms of moving you towards a 5. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
like for me, my health is 1, right? So I should be really focused this year upcoming on goals to move that dial up to a 5, as close as I possibly can. So whatever I'm dissatisfied about, let me set some goals to ensure that I increase that, right? Same thing for you all. So where are your lowest ones? Just you guys share.
My health.
Your health. Okay, Cynthia, your health. What about you, Andrea?
My lowest two is I put health and personal passions.
Personal passions. Okay. All right. And then let me just make sure, because I just pinged. Lauren, hi, how are you?
I am good.
Good. We're on page, goodness, what page are we on? Emotional temperature. Are you in the Facebook members group?
Which one?
Travel Agents United membership support group.
Yes, I am.
There's a file I uploaded into that group. That's the workbook that we're going to be using during this class.
Okay.
And we're right now just assessing our emotional temperature. So, TT, are you there?
Yes. Can you
Okay.
hear?
What are your lowest ones?
My lowest ones are health and business.
Health and business. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing. When we go to the next step, which is to set your intentions, what I want you to do is I want you to start from the lowest to the highest, is identify what is it that you're unhappy with and what do you envision your life to be like in those areas. So for me, I'm going to give you an example. So my health is 1. The reason why, and you won't have to share this with me, this is really a personal discussion, but for me, the reason why my health is 1 is because I am overweight. I don't have any energy. I feel like I'm damn near narcoleptic. Every time I eat, I fall asleep. I can barely stay up, right? I just don't feel my best, right? So the vision for me is to have more energy, to be lighter, or less, less heavy. And so that's what I see the vision for me to be like. Another one that I have is in my personal passions. I have a very strong business drive, but I don't have any hobbies. So the vision for me is to create that balance in my life where I see myself having, more personal passions that are not related to work, right? So that's what we want to do in this step 2, is set the vision for those areas of your life, starting with the lowest areas and then moving to the highest areas. So pick any one of those ones that you want to elaborate on during this class. It doesn't have to be the lowest one, but the idea is for you to pick the lowest one. We're obviously during this class going to be focused a lot on business examples, but if your thing that you want to focus on is your health or whatever, pick whichever one of these 6 items we went over and let you spend about 2 minutes. And I give you some examples. So funny because I've already kind of given you that example, but my area last year was family. I didn't really have a lot of stuff going on with the family. I wasn't doing a lot of activities. So the intention that I wanted to set last year was to see family more often and dedicate real time to connect and catch up. So in this area, dream big. I don't want you to be like, well, I just want to, I just want to be, I just want to be healthy. No, what does healthy look like to you, right? One of my dreams, and I say this out loud, I'm going to say it out loud because I'm going to achieve it in 2020. I want to do a small marathon. I don't want to do like the full marathon. I want to do the small one, whatever that small one is. I don't know what it is, but that's what I want to do, right? So dream big. Don't be afraid. This is your life, your goals. So set them how you want to, okay? So we're going to take I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes to work on this. You can set the intention for how many ever you can in 5 minutes, or you can just focus on one. We'll talk a little bit about it, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, does anyone have any questions? Let me set the timer. No questions? All right, I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes here, and I want you to take that, area in your workbook. If you're not using your workbook, just get a piece of paper, look at your areas, and let's talk about what that vision looks like for you guys. TT, you've got business on yours, so what does your business look like for you, okay?
All right.
Let's see if I can find some cool music to play. You guys hear the music? Is it coming across?
Yep.
If you want some hard rap, let me know. Is anyone having any problems with this area? Is everyone doing okay?
Yes.
I'm good.
This should be the fun. This is the funnest part of this, right? Because you get to dream exactly what you want. So. I don't know about this music. This is making me sleepy. You guys like romantic guitar music?
Sounds like elevator music.
That sounds like elevator music. This said exam study music. I thought this would be helpful. I don't know. I need some gangster rap or something. Tell me, what do you guys like?
Mm,
Does everybody like R&B?
yep. Like R&B, neo soul.
Oh, neo soul. I haven't done that. Somebody's fire alarm out.
Mm.
Maybe that's mine. All right, is everybody good?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got about 3 more, well, a little less than a minute, if I'm reading this right. Okay, is everybody done? Or as much as
Yep.
you? All right, let me stop that. Let me stop our music. Okay. All right, so how did you guys feel about this exercise? Easy to do, hard to come up with your vision, or you have a real clear idea of what it is that you want to achieve?
It was easy to do.
Easy to do?
Mhm.
Yeah, no problems trying to envision what you would see your business like, your health like.
No,
Right.
not really. Just
What did you
stick.
say? I didn't hear what you said.
I said no. Not really having any problems figuring it out. It's just sticking to what, the goals that I've set.
So the identification process is not the issue. You think it's really the implementation
Yeah.
of it. Okay, so we're going to talk about a little bit about that later on in the class. How about everyone else? Andrea, how do you feel about easy to set the intention?
Yes, it was.
All right, so you know exactly. All right, anybody else have an area of business that they want to improve upon their business? My business number is about a 3. No?
Yeah,
Lorraine, how are you? For you to set the intention for what you want to see your life or your particular areas of your life.
so my business is at a 1,
Okay.
and so I now have a lot of work to do within that area, especially with time management.
Okay.
Would be my number 1 goal
All
to be
right.
working on this coming year.
Okay, so so I want to make sure for this area, you guys are not really trying to figure out how you're going to get there, but just what do you, when you think about your business, Lorraine, what would you like your business to look like? All right, so you know it's a 1. If you had a, you know, you, regardless of the how you did it, what would your business look like for it to be a 5?
It's gonna look like so I'm trying to think in words like how to put it. I guess I'll be it'll be easier for me to have customers come into gravitating towards me instead of having to constantly ask friends and associate if they are interested in a promotion deal that I'm putting out there. So it'll be easier for me to have people coming towards me without having to do that part.
Okay, so a good way to speak that or write that would be, you know, customers naturally attracted to your business without you having to go and seek out those customers. That's a really great vision. What else?
Well, my goal plan I'm hoping on is being able to replace my income.
Okay, all right. Put that number down. You don't have to share it, but put the number down. So I always want people, because you know, a lot of people tell me I want to replace my income. Well, put the number down. So you're very, hold on, my kids are having a party upstairs and sorry, my boys are like, they turn their music on and they are having a party upstairs. I'm like, I can't hear myself. Put the number down. So what does replacement of income look like? What does that look like monthly? What does that look like annually, right? Because the more information you have in terms of articulating your goals, again, the easier it becomes for you to be able to measure how close you are, how you're doing that. So put your numbers down. So for, you know, if you want a specific financial amount, know what that number is. Okay. Cynthia, how are you doing? How was it for you to set the intention for your life, or what the areas of your life?
It's good. At this moment, I think that the training that I'm going through with your, in your program has really worked me out and opened up my eyes to everything I could possibly do. And I just didn't know exactly how to do it. So I put down, as I mentioned earlier, health was my number 1. And then I put down as number 2 as my business, because I'm not there yet to where I can replace my income, which is my ultimate goal.
Okay.
And so I think just working with you and the program, I can definitely get there and replace that number that, I want to do.
Okay. So just like I just mentioned to Lorraine, put the number down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very clear about what replacement of income looks like for you on a monthly, annual basis.
And then I've also kind of like for next year, because, I got a little bit ahead of myself, and I just kind of multiplied that by 12, and then how I could possibly get, each month, like how many clients possibly could get me to that monthly goal. And I really went down into detail on this.
Because that's exactly where we're going to go, right?
Yeah, yes. I mean, I have to, so I can see a bigger picture and I can keep track of myself, because then if I didn't, I don't think that's something that I have never done with that, I need to be a little bit more obedient and disciplined on what I need to do to get to where I want. So
Absolutely.
I had to really micromanage all that stuff so that way I know what I need to do and where I need to be.
Perfect. All right, good. Well, ladies, I'm excited for you. This is your life. You get to define exactly what it is and how that looks like for your life. So, we only took 5 minutes. My recommendation is for you to spend a little bit more time on this later, and really write out where you see each of these areas of your life and how you envision them. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next exercise, which is outcome and processes. And so what we really want to do here is, in the outcome plus processes, we want to understand what the ideal result and the best end for your goal is. So this is really a measurement type of activity. We want you to be very specific. So like I mentioned, I want you to put exactly, when you say replace income, what does that mean? So if you've got any of your vision items and they don't have anything that has a very specific result or conclusion to it, I want you to, in this area, in this step, that's what we're going to do here. We also, from a process perspective, I want you to identify what kind of skills do you need? What do you need to help you get there, right? So Lorene mentioned time management. Well, is it that maybe you don't really understand how to manage your time better? So maybe you need some education in that space. Maybe, so for me, health-wise, it's always, my goal is to lose weight. And what I need is not that I don't need to know how to lose weight. I need accountability, right? So that's the process that I need, is I need to have something that helps me be accountable. I also know that I need food prep, right? Those are the things from a process perspective that you want to do. Characteristics, again, specific, measurable, and timetable. We want to take that vision and we want to get it to the next level, which is, what is the end result? Don't be vague, right? So I want to be happy. That's vague, right? I want to specifically go out on a date with my husband once a month, every, for the rest of the year. That's very specific, right? The process to make sure I go out on a date is, I'm going to put it on the calendar, and every third Thursday we're going out on a date, right? And characteristics is every month in the next year, right? That's what we want to do in step 3. All right, so here's an example. So family, so remember in my family example, I want to see my family more often. I want to dedicate real time to connect and catch up. So one of the outcomes and processes is that I'm going to plan a family reunion that happens on the same holidays each year, right? And so that's actually what I did last year for my family and close friends, is I planned a group cruise in the summer, and we are going to do that every year. So at minimum, every year, my entire family, my immediate family, my kids, my husband, my best friend, and his family, we go on a cruise in the summertime. So that was my outcome and process that I did to make sure that I connect with those people that are super important to me, right? So does that make sense to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to take your goal or your vision, and we're going to say, what can you do to achieve that? So I'm going to use, because I think Lorene and Cynthia had the same thing. You want to replace your income, right? Well, what can you do to achieve replacing your income as one or two steps that you can do? Now you know the number, but what can you do to make that tangible, right? Let me give you an example of something that could be, right? The first step is, I want to be making $1,000 in commission, in the first quarter. Next quarter, maybe I want to be making $2,000, so that's what we want to do here. We want to be specific, right? I can get 5 clients or I can get 5 group trips. That's the kind of thing that we want you to do in this area, particularly for your business. If you guys need any help on the business area, let me know and just tell me what the goal is, and we can talk through what that example would be. Okay, 5 minutes. Is that too loud?
That's fine to me.
Fine.
Okay, we're coming up on 5 minutes. All right, hold on. I'll learn how to use my phone. So it's me who's got the chirping, chirping fire alarm. I gotta find that. That's like the most annoying thing that ever could be in your house. All right, so let's talk about number 3. Are we on number 3? Yes, we're number 3. How was it for you guys on the outcome and processes?
It was a little more difficult.
That one is a little bit more difficult. That's right. Okay, so Andre, give me some examples. Give me a goal or give me your vision and which one did you have a hard time with?
Well, the one that I worked out was my health. My vision is it's like 4 parts. It's to lose 60 pounds, be able to fit in an airplane seatbelt without having to pull it all the way out the casket. What else did I put? Getting like consistent with going to the gym because I'm not, and then getting back to walking 5 miles at least 3 times a week.
I like this seatbelt one because I have the same issue. Like I would have never thought to say that, but that is actually that like, and I don't want to touch anybody when I like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so your actual ones, you could actually put these as sub ones under the lose 60 pounds, but your vision is 60 pounds. The walking, you said up to 5 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the day or what is that?
I said 5 miles 3 times a week.
Okay, how many times a week?
3.
Okay. All right, so a process or an outcome that you could have is you could create a schedule for how you're going to get there, right? You're going to start off, you want to walk 1 time a week, right? As far as you can, right? Without stopping, right? And then another one would be, I want to, by the end of the first quarter, I want to be able to do 2 miles, 2 times a week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's to create, the pounds that you want to lose. An outcome and process that you could do is I'm going to create a weight loss plan that says I'm going to lose 20 pounds by the first quarter. I'm going to lose another 20 pounds by the second quarter, right? So those would be an example of how you do. Now the seatbelt, if you're traveling a lot, I don't know how we could determine the seatbelt one, but we could figure out how long the seatbelt is and then use that as a measurement for you to just gauge yourself at home, right? I'm going to measure myself I don't recommend doing that shit daily. That shit just pisses you off, right? I'm going to measure myself once a month. I'm going to start with this measurement and I want to get down to this measurement, in the next 2 to 3 months, right? Again, what we want to do is we want to create these processes and outcomes in enough chunks so that they're not disheartening. So if you wait all year, you're not going to have the opportunity to celebrate your successes and your interims. If you say, by the end of the year, I want to lose 60 pounds, right? Well, by month 2 and you've only lost 10 pounds, you're like, well, bunk that, right? So that's what we want to set some increments on that. So that's what you can do for those kind of goals. Does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of break it down, right? So if you want to do 5 miles and 3 times a week, that's the end goal. How can we get you there is just starting to walk. Like, I just want to be able to walk, get out of the house and walk, at minimum 3 times a week, right? Just get out of the house. I'm going to get out of the house every night or every morning, whatever that time frame is, or even at lunch. I mean, I don't know what your work situation is, but I'm going to go and work at work and I'm going to walk around the building, right? That would be a good outcome and process too.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Lorraine, how are you? How did you do with this one?
So for me, I'm still haven't completed this one because in order for me to get exactly what my outcome would be to replace my income, I have to know exactly how many customers per month, or would be sufficient enough for me to say, well, okay, I'm going to get to that goal. And I'm not sure yet um, as for how much like what percent of a booking that would go towards um, my my earnings.
So then that would be a perfect outcome and process is I'm going to identify what it takes to be able to, from a booking and a client acquisition, to achieve my goal. That's a great outcome and process, right? That's one of the things that you want to be able to do is be able to say, okay, I need to be hitting these numbers every month and growing it by X percentage. So that's a skill that you don't have now. Put it down as an outcome and process that that's what you want to achieve.
Okay.
Okay. Another one would be as you guys have been working with me for some time. Some of you are new, some of you are not. One of the things, particularly in your business, that you need is a way to consistently attract strangers. And you've already put that down as one of your goals, Lorraine. You said, I want to be able to do that without having to go and hit the pavement every time I put together a package, right? So how do you attract people? If you don't know how to do that, put that down as one of your outcome and processes. I want to learn how to attract new people to my business without me having to, exert a lot of effort to do that.
Okay.
All right. So this is about acknowledging that you may not have the skill sets for whatever it is that you want to achieve. And that's one of the things that we want to make sure that you put down as a result is you want to achieve that skill set and then obviously implement the skills that you need. Cynthia, how about you?
I have it all down, and what I actually had to do though, as well, because I got a little bit of everything as I think Andrea, weight loss, and then I just kind of broke everything down, and as well with my travel agent business that I want to keep going. I kind of broke everything down so that way I know each month, set myself little small goals instead of, like you mentioned, instead of saying, okay, I want to lose, 50 pounds by the end of the year. That's just like a big, broad number by a certain date that if I didn't kind of just break it down per month, then I probably won't, because I've done it before. I won't even keep up with it because I'm just like, oh, I got, I'll make up, next month. I'll make up next month. And then 12 months go by and nothing. So what I actually started doing to prepare myself for next year is that I got a daily planner to where I can each day write down, just do a schedule of, okay, I'm going to wake up at, 5 o'clock in the morning. I have pets, so I have to take care of my little fur babies, work out, do this much walking as well, like Andrea mentioned earlier, and then do some travel work, between the hours of, I gave myself about 3 to 4 hours, just depending on how much I see myself doing. Lunch break, of course, I got to take a lunch break, and then house chores or, cook dinner, all of that is, scheduled. I've got it all on a daily planner. So that way I can just, keep up with myself and then have something to be accountable for every day.
So that's a good outcome. To summarize your outcome and process for your health is to track daily your activities, right? And
Yes.
make sure that you schedule those activities on a daily basis.
Correct.
Right? So that's a great outcome and process. And so I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of insight on me in terms of the weight thing, right? So I had the goal to lose weight, and what I didn't account for when we talk about constraints and blockers is vacation. That, you know, I was losing weight, doing great, then I go on vacation and it totally derailed me, and I didn't go back to it. So I need to now account for vacation time, and when I'm not able to stick to the schedule, how will I hold myself accountable? So that's something for you guys to think about as well, right? And we're going to actually go over a little bit in terms of things that potentially are going to derail you and identify those. But all right, TT, I think you were next.
So I had some health goals too. I want to stop eating pork again because
what?
Eating pork again.
The swine, huh?
Yeah, because I stopped eating it for years. Then I went on a vacation.
Vacation.
I went to DR, and that's all that they had. So I started eating pork again.
The DR.
Yep. So I want to stop doing that again. Also, I want to start drinking, making my sea moss, because I have hyperthyroidism, and that's really good for balancing out your thyroid. And I have it in my kitchen. I just have not made it. So, huh?
What's it called?
Sea moss, Irish sea moss.
Okay. Well, I don't have a thyroid anymore, and I know my energy is related to that, but I'm going to talk to you offline about that.
Okay. So that's for health. For my business, like Cynthia was saying, how she wants to, well, like you were giving her the example, I want to make $1,000 in the first quarter, $2,000 in the second quarter. So I was thinking, in order for me to do that, that I would pick out my suppliers that I would like to work with, who would give me the greatest amount of commission, and pick packages or make packages that I could sell that would get me the commission that I wanted. So I was thinking that if I did packages for, I don't know, like $6,000, and that got me a $300, $400 commission. If I did that for 4 to 5 clients, that would get me that $1,000 for the first quarter.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. That's exactly what we want to be doing, is identifying. So the fact that you broke it out by the fact that you want to select your suppliers that you want to be working with, that's a great outcome and process. That give you the maximum amount of commission. That also is a great idea. And then you want to stay at an average package price of X, right? $6,000. That would then equal to this type of commission. Yes, that's exactly what you want to be doing there too. Now, don't forget too, your service fees.
Yes. That too.
You know, maybe, you know, another outcome for you all as well is, you know, I really do think that your service fees should be greater than $25, but let's just say they are $25. I picked that because most people start at $25 or $50, right? Let's say I want to just, you know, for the first quarter, I want to make sure that I have enough discovery calls that equal, you know, that I get service revenue of $200. I want to start getting service revenue of $200. Then I want to start, you know, by the second quarter, I want to get $500 of service revenue, right? This is kind of how you can help yourself too, is think about it from a commission and a service revenue perspective as well. I want to get groups. And if you don't know how to do that, then make sure you have as one of your processes that you want to acquire how to do that. How to create a schedule of revenue that's going to help you get to your goal. Okay? Okay. All right. Did I cover everybody? I went through everybody's name, right? Did you have a chance to talk? I think so. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so this exercise, we just did that one. All right, so this one we're going to, here we're going to talk about what your blockers are and your constraints. And so I sort of alluded to that on my example for the weight. You know, I was losing weight, great. And then I go on vacation, and I ate okay on vacation, but then I came back and I was not motivated to want to keep eating that nasty food I was eating before vacation. I wanted to keep eating great food. So, you know, what is the reason why? And this is a hard one, because you actually have to be honest with yourself about why you haven't achieved whatever it is that you just put down. Because there's something that's preventing you from achieving that already. It's been on your heart. You've already done it. So what is the thing that has prevented you from achieving it? For me, for losing weight, is I really don't have a desire to not eat. Like I want to eat. So that's a blocker for me, right? A constraint is, what is the root cause of that, right? What is the root cause? You need to determine the reason or the root cause for your blocks, right? So I really mentally know that I'm overweight, but I feel it and I see it in the mirror, but when I don't look at myself in the mirror, I don't feel it. Does that make sense, right? So that's a blocker, because the reality is I am overweight, right? It is, I am don't have the energy that I have. I am lethargic, right? So those are realities. So I've got to get the two of those in sync. And the constraint is I've got to realize that regardless of what I think, I've got to still exercise and I've got to still watch what I eat, or eat more often, because that's the only way to achieve it. So it doesn't matter what my mind tricks are playing on me. The reality is I'm not fitting into the cute clothes I want to fit into. I'm not comfortable when I sit down next to people. I don't like my pictures, blah, 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 right? So same thing for you. This is where you've got to be honest with yourself. You know, and it could be, maybe you don't really want it, right? That could be a blocker, right? Maybe you're saying it because that's what you think is what you're supposed to say, but you don't really want it. And that could be a blocker for you as well. So this one is a real self-awareness and being honest with yourself. Now, you guys do not have to share these, but here's some examples of some constraints. Fear, lack of discipline, or lack of skill set. For me, in the weight, it's lack of discipline, that hands down. It's I say I want it, but I think I want it more for other people than I do for myself, and I don't hold myself accountable for it, right? I know how, and I'm not fearful of it, but these are the three constraints that most things fall into. Someone was going to say something?
I said ditto.
Yeah, it's lack of discipline. So be honest with yourself. If it's lack of discipline, then we got to address that, because if you, and most of the time when it's lack of discipline, it's because it's not as important to you, right? Because it's not that we're not disciplined individuals or people. It's that it's not as important to you as something else that you will tie yourself down to do. So that's what we want to make sure that you're super clear about, why you haven't done whatever it is that you want to do on your list, okay? And only you can answer that. All right, so here's an example, right? So we're taking this family example, right? I'm gonna plan a family reunion, and a blocker is maybe my mom and sister had a major fight and they aren't speaking, and you don't want to get in the middle of it, right? I mean, that's honest, right? You know they're fighting and you want to do this family reunion, but if you go to mom, she's going to be like, well, your sister is an asshole, right? And, you know, she doesn't see my way, or whatever, right? A constraint is that you just don't want to deal with the tension that having everybody together is going to create, and you're fearful that they won't get along, right? So, you know that what you do is you separately get with your sister, you separately get with your mom, and you don't ever want to bring them together. So that's a real live example, right? So acknowledging that and knowing that that exists means that, you know, maybe you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone and tell them to squash it so that you guys can get together, and you don't have to then do like 16 different independent individual trips, right? Or you could just say, I'm not going to get in the middle of it, and I'm going to need to come up with another outcome and process, because I ain't trying to fight this battle with my sister and mom, right? But being aware of it is going to make you be able to make a better decision as to how you want to proceed. All right, hopefully that example helped. Okay, so we're going to take 5 minutes, and I want you to do a quick self-analysis as to why you are not in the place that you desire to be right now. If you've got business examples, again, honesty with yourself. We can talk this out, because I am not afraid to tell you, my dirty little secrets and why I'm not where I need to be. I can give you many examples personally. So if this is something that you struggle with and you maybe don't want to be as honest with yourself, I can give you plenty of personal examples for me. All right, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. All right, just before I set the timer, does anyone have any questions on this one? No? All right, time to be real honest with you. Okay, we're starting. Okay, how's everybody doing?
Okay.
Okay, so did you find this exercise easy or hard to do?
It was easy.
Easy?
Yeah.
So did you identify why you, this is TT, right?
Yes.
Okay, so since you volunteered, you found it easy to identify why you haven't achieved what it is that you achieved? Do you want to share any of it?
For my business, the reason why I'm not in the place that I desire to be is because I had, and I think I'm still have, well, I don't know. I had a hard time figuring out who my ideal client is. And I know that that's the basis of everything, to figure out who your ideal client is so that you can market to them, so that you can talk to them, so that you can attract them. And I struggled with that for a long time. And that's why I'm not where I, that's not why, sorry, that's why I'm not where I should be.
Okay, so do you think that what do you think is the cause of that or the constraint of that? Is that lack of knowledge to be able to identify that?
I think it's my niche, because I have, my niche is adventure. So everyone participates in adventure, whether they realize it or not. And I just didn't know who to focus on for adventure travel.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, I do now have an ideal client who I want to work with, but now my problem is, how am I going to speak to them for adventure travel?
Okay. So me knowing you a little bit, TT, do you feel like any of your constraints are around fear?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I think that I know you because we've been working together for some time now. So fear can, I'm talking to everybody here. Fear can come in many forms. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear that you don't deserve to have what it is that you desire can be a strong enough emotion for you to either prevent or sabotage your desire to move forward. Does that make sense, everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Because I personally have a fear of I don't deserve what it is that I ask for or what I want, right? So that manifests itself in me procrastinating on doing certain activities or me not following through on activities, which it's not that I don't know how to or that I don't have the information. It's deep. The real constraint is that I don't feel I deserve it. So I sort of self-sabotage my progress by inaction, right? So I bring that up because sometimes that's a hard thing for us to acknowledge, that we are fearful, and that fear will prevent us from action. I've always said, I read this in a book, that that's what fear does. No matter what the type of fear is, it moves you to not act. And so if you know that that's a fear, if you know, or if you acknowledge that fear is one of your constraints, then the only thing that you can do to eliminate it is to act. Period, end of story. There's no other antidote to fear. It is just to do the thing that you're fearful of. So let's just explore this a little bit, TT. You said that you now know that you didn't know what your ideal client is. Now you know what your ideal client is, and now you feel like you don't know how to talk to them. And so tell me about that. What is it that you are lacking that you think in order to be able to determine how to talk to your ideal client?
Hmm. Just so my ideal client are empty nesters. Um, they are feeling the loss of, their children going away to college. Now they have this newfound freedom, and a lot of them would like to travel. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I weave that? I know that you're feeling kind of lost because your children aren't home. Now you have the time to become closer again. Now you have the time to get back to the things that you did before you had children. Now this is your time to do the things that you want to do. So I'm just having a problem with how I can put that into my message, and like on my social media, how to get that message across.
This year created a quiz.
Hmm.
Did you ever release it?
I did not, because I'm still I want to have my ideal client ready.
That's
And
that's fair. You have all of the TT. I know where you are. At least I knew where you were a couple months ago.
mhm,
Here, you have created something as a barrier for you to implement what you've already done. You've already created the stranger offer.
yeah,
You
I
got the information. The last time we talked, you had the email series,
did.
and
Mhm,
there's no reason why you shouldn't release it to test it out.
okay.
So you've got to look inside of yourself and ask yourself, what are you afraid of by just doing it? Because you don't need another stranger offer at this point. You don't need another thing. You just need to release. Let it go. There's no level of perfection you need to get to let it go. You've got an amazing quiz that can start getting you some traction that you can test out, and the creation of that stranger offer is amazing. Let it go. Let it rip, baby.
All right.
Let it rip. So there's something that's preventing you from letting it rip. And you've now said it's because you don't know your ideal client, you don't know how to speak to them, but you already have something to speak to them to get people to engage with you, and you've not done it. So ask yourself this offline. If you want to talk to me later about it, let's schedule some time, and let's get through the reason why you've stopped going down the path that you were going, because it's not this that you just said.
Okay.
Okay, so I want you to do that for any other goal that you have, because it would be different, TT, if I didn't know you.
Mhm.
I would say, okay, you're right, that's a great acknowledgement. Well, that's a lack of skill set, right? But I don't think it's a lack of skill set for you, and I don't think it's a lack of discipline either.
No, I don't know. I just want like, when I like you talk about having everything automated, and once I let everything go, I just want it to be, I guess it's perfection paralysis. Like, I just want everything
Not
to be perfect. I want it to be automated, and then I just want to look at the results. I don't want to have to, well, I know I'll have to tweak here and there, but I guess I won't know what I have to tweak if I don't.
ever release it. I have failed so many times releasing stuff, tweaking it, but by the virtue of me releasing is the only way that I've been able to tweak it and make it better. But me waiting for because there is no perfection, right? There is no there is no perfection, period. Like, there's no perfection. So you waiting to release what everyone, because you even released this inside of the group and they told you it was a great quiz and it was on spot, right?
Mhm.
So you not releasing this stranger offer out and to start to gather some information to determine what you need to do, um, and then to go down another route, that's all fear. That's all. I don't, there's no other way to say it. It's fear. So we got to figure out how we get you beyond the fear of I don't know if it's fear of failure. I don't know what the type of fear it is that you have, but there is a fear component that's preventing you from moving forward on this particular area.
Okay.
Until you address it and acknowledge it, you're going to start another thing. I mean, if I accepted what you said and said, okay, you're right, you don't know your ideal client, you don't know this, you know how to talk to them, right? I say, okay, well, here's the skills to do that. You go off and do it. You create another thing, and then you stop. We're going to get back to the same spot again, even if you go down another route.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Andrea,
Mm-hmm.
how are you?
Oh, very unhappily looking into this mirror.
This fear?
I said, I'm very unhappily looking into this mirror.
Oh, yes. That mirror does not always reflect the beauty that we are.
Huh.
It does not. Okay, do you want to share anything? You don't have to share, ladies. This is not intended for me to be beating you up.
So, well, I did the health one, and I also was, while you guys were talking, did up the one for my business too.
Mhm.
So my issue, well, as far as the business one, I would say my biggest blockers is nobody knows me. Everyone, and then I said my networking skills suck because I'm naturally an introvert. It's really hard for me to get out and talk to people. And I know if I'm going to be in this kind of business, I gotta figure out a way to fix that. And then I said I'm constantly overwhelmed with my lack of marketing skills, as well as having the
Are you there, Andrea? Did you say hello? Are y'all still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Did we lose Andrea?
We here.
Hold on, let's see. Andrea, if you're talking, we can't hear you. I wonder if her connection dropped. It's getting kind of juicy there a minute. I'm gonna give her a minute to go on. Lorraine, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, what did you come up with while we let Andrea come back?
So, as Andrea was saying, as you and Titi was talking, I was thinking about what y'all was saying, and I think for me the big picture is fear of failure. Because I'm pretty sure, well, not pretty sure, but I have a lot of information a lot of training stuff, courses that I purchased, and I just, I guess I use that, and I do have problem with time management. That's definitely a fact because my work takes up all of my time, most of my time, but I think I use that a lot, to not do what I should be doing.
Yep. Okay. And those are fair self-awareness items. So the reality is fear of failure will cause us not to act, right? Because we're like, I don't want to fail, so I'm just not gonna, these are all the reasons why I shouldn't do, or I won't do, or I'm not gonna do. And by not acting, then you don't have to deal with that failure. But I would challenge you to say this to yourself, and also just when you're thinking about this. So what if you fail? What happens if you do fail, right? We build this concept of a failure being some catastrophic event that will, make us unable to move into doing it again, right? And the reality is that is not true, right? So the question says, what if you do try something and you do fail at it, right? What if you do create an offer and someone doesn't buy it, right? It's not the end of your life, right? Right?
No, I mean it's not, but I think the block in my mind is that Okay, if I put all my time into creating something, I'm not thinking of it as I would like for it to fail, and for me, for me, I'm not saying I'm not downgrading anybody else's time, but for me, I'm thinking, well, hey, I have limited amount of hours that in the day that and I guess it's a lot of mind games. So I guess I'm telling myself an idea that is easier for me to accept than to actually do the work to get
That's
it.
because that, and I'm glad that you acknowledged that and you said that it is mind games. Your mind is saying to you, right? You've got this finite amount of time, right? I know that you said that you work nights and so you've got to get rest and you've got these only certain amount of hours. So why waste it on doing what you want to accomplish? Because you may fail and it will be wasted time, right? That's what your mind is telling you, right?
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
and the reality is that you very well may fail at an activity that you try and implement, but that does not mean that the activity or the objective is wrong. It just means that you've got to do something different or you're missing a component. And so when you do it again, it's going to be better, right? So what and this is a very difficult thing to do when you are doing something you've never done before. Assume failure is a fact, right? Assume that you will fail at some component of launching your business or in your business, right? And I'm going to tell you, I've been doing this for 4 years now, and I have launched many products, classes, and they all have some component of failure in the first launch, right? Assume that failure is going to happen. Have a conversation with yourself and say, so what? What can I learn out of what I did? Because what I will tell you, Lorraine, and this is for all of you ladies, that whatever you fail at, whatever you did in that process is not wasteful. There is no such thing as failure and 100% of what you did is a failure. There's some part of it that didn't go well that you need to tweak, readjust, maybe come at it at a different angle, but the entire thing you don't need to throw out of the bucket, right? You don't have to throw what is that saying, throw the baby out with the bathwater or something like that, right? You don't have to throw the whole baby out, right? You just got to throw the bathwater out, rerun some bathwater and get some new suds, right? So ask yourself, what happens, and this is a good example for us in the travel business, what happens if you put together a travel package and it doesn't sell the way that you want? What's going to happen?
Nothing. I mean, it just won't sell.
It won't sell, right? That's the biggest thing. So this doesn't mean that you should never put together a travel package, right? What's probably indicative of the fact that it didn't sell is maybe you didn't market it well. Maybe you were trying to sell it to people that don't know who the hell you are, right? So that's the implementation of you marketing that package is what's flawed that we would need to fix. But I would never say don't expend the time determining who your choice travel suppliers are. The package that you created was probably amazing. Maybe it wasn't paired to the right type of customer, right? There's something that we can tweak such that the next time you create a package, you are doing it correctly, right? Or you're getting the results that you want. That's because correctly is not the word I wanted to use, is that you get the results that you want. So the art of you putting together that package, maybe you didn't know how to do that. Now you know how to do that. Now you know how to work with that vendor's site and you know who to contact, right? And you've expended that effort. So the whole thing is not worthless. You probably launched it to strangers and nobody, and I always tell you, don't try and sell a $2,000 package to people who don't know who you are, right?
Yeah.
So it could be your knowledge set in terms of marketing that package is what you need to tweak, not the creation of the package. That time that you spent on developing the package is not incorrect, right? Or not wasted time. So again, I say, ask yourself, I'm going to spend this time on this. What happens if I fail? What's going to happen if I fail? Right? We waste a lot of time, a lot, right? I don't know about you, but I waste hours of my day using my thumb scrolling through Facebook. Like, I don't know about you guys. Do you guys waste time on
Yep.
social media?
I get on the
Yeah.
computer to do something and then get on Facebook to look up something, and I wind up scrolling and
Scrolling, right? So we waste a lot of time. So when people tell me that they've got a time management issue, I'm like, we have a lot of time in the day, you know, and I've got a time management class that if you guys haven't had it, all you guys remembers, and that time management class is in the Marketing Boss Academy. If you've taken it, maybe take it again. But we waste a lot of time and we don't ask ourselves, what could I be doing differently, right, during that time? Because we get engaged and it's, you know what it does? It's a waste of time. And the reason why we allow ourselves to do it, because it's like a endorphin, or what is that emotion, that chemical in your brain that makes it feel good, right? It makes you
Endorphin.
feel good to like watch these people's stories and read that, and then you don't have to address the fact that you're scared that you may create a package and it may not sell. You don't have to address all of that when you're wasting time looking through social media, right? You just get to judge all the stupid stuff that you're reading, and it's not personal, right? But take that time that you're wasting on these activities that are really not going to allow you to address that. Yeah, you may do something that you may not be successful at, but you're going to learn something out of the process. Ask yourself what happens if you do fail. Assume you will fail, and then ask yourself what's going to happen, right? Is the world going to end? Are you not going to be able to feed your family? Are you going to, you know, these are not catastrophic things that we're doing. So do it. Just do it. Fear wants you to not do it. So just do it. Whatever it is, learn the skill, implement the skill, do whatever it is that fear says. I know it's an easier said than done activity, but the reality is you've got to face this fear that you have. Ask yourselves those hard questions and put a plan in place to do the thing that is stopping you from doing the thing. And that's sort of circular. Do the thing that's stopping you from doing the thing, but that's what you got to do. You got to do the thing that fear says you shouldn't do. You got to do it anyway. So fear of failure is a big one, but so what, you fail? So what, you create a package, right? What else could go wrong in your business, right?
I mean, I think it's because, I mean, I won't speak for everybody else, but for me, it's like everything that I've done in my life, or every goal that I've set out to create, it may have taken me a little time, but I've reached it. And I've never had my own business before, so it's something totally new. It's like a whole new beast. So it's like, I don't know if what I'm doing is right. And that's where the mind games come in. What if I do it and nobody comes? Or that's what makes it very fearful.
So and so I'm asking you, so what if nobody comes? Do you know how many times I've done a live when I first started and nobody was there? Countless. I've launched classes and I've had one student sign up, right? And was going to cancel the class. And my coach was like, no, you've got to deliver that class. And that class turned into what is now a very successful Facebook ads class, right? If I hadn't taken that step and do the class, I mean, it was like a 4-week class. So I'm teaching the class to one person. I'm like, that's a royal waste of my time. But I did it anyway. And that exercise allowed me to tweak the class so that I could do it better the next time. So I say, so what if you show up and nobody's there the first 5, 15, 20 times? So what? You know what is hurt is your ego.
Yeah.
That's what's hurt. Your ego is hurt. But what I will say is, well, you do something different. You show up again, but maybe you invite people that you know who are going to show up, right? That's going to help boost you a little bit, right? And you just keep you invite me to any of your lives and I'm going to be there, right? And I'm going to egg you on while you're in there. I'm going to give you stuff to laugh about while you're in the middle of it, right? I'm going to tell you you're doing a great job until you get comfortable with doing it again, right? You've got a support network. So I say to you, TT, and all of you ladies, so what if no one shows up when you show up? You're talking to the queen of fearfulness when it comes to showing up online and or showing up in person. It doesn't matter, just showing up, period. And fear of no one, people not liking me. Like I have a huge, what is that called? Insecurity about not being liked. And I do all this effort because it's, you know, for me, I feel like I've put my entire world into whatever it is that I present or do. And then it's a huge ego blow, right? Well, it's not that what you did was wrong. You didn't, and it goes back to some of the same things that we've been talking about, right? What did you do to make sure that people knew that you were there?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What did you do to make it known that you were there? Because it's not that people don't like you, Titi. You're an amazing, likable woman, right?
But I'm like Erica Badu. I'm sensitive about my stuff.
You're sensitive about your stuff.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. It would be different if I didn't know you, ladies. Like I don't know Lorraine, you as much as I know Titi and Andrea because I've been working with them. But what I will tell you, all three of you, my observation is this: you guys have amazing personalities. Titi, you are in other groups that I'm in, and you are always helpful. I've even talked to you about the fact that I think that you should be teaching, right? And it's not that you don't know your stuff. You maybe you're an introvert like Andrea, right? What's amazing is I feel like I work with a lot of introverts, right? Mm-hmm. And I know how much energy it takes for an introvert to show up, right? Because one, it's draining. It's not your natural tendency. But what I would say, it's not that what you're doing is incorrect or not bringing it. It is that you are not spending your effort in ensuring that people know that you're going to show up, right? So when I tell you guys that my lives, my events, everything I used to do would have, 1 to 2 people show up to, it was because there's no such thing that you build it and they'll come. You build it, and then you got to be out there hustling your ass off to tell people I built it. I built this damn thing. Show up. And your great personalities will let people, just by mere invitation, right? So it's not the thing that is the problem. It is the way that you communicate that you're there is what we want to work on. So if you want to add a goal, don't change the goal that you want to show up. Change the fact that you want to learn and implement how to get more people to show up where you're at. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Okay, so that fear says, so what I want you guys to put down for your goals. The fear is that thing that you have. And Andrea, I'm going to let you finish because you were in the middle of some juicy stuff that I want to finish hearing you talk about. But, I hear fear is a big thing for you ladies. So we want to make sure we acknowledge that. And then we want to make sure that we get some things in place to help you overcome those fears. So the first thing that I would say, if any of you guys are experiencing fear of failure or fear of not being liked or fear that you don't deserve, is I want you to, as a part of your goals, put the actions that are the catalyst of your fear. So if it's, and I'm going to pick an example. So my fear is, I'm going to use your example, Andrea, as an example. No one knows me, right? And maybe my fear, Sunday's fear, is no one knows me, but I'm afraid to get out there. Then I want your goal is I'm going to get out there, 6 times. I'm going to host an event 6 times into 2020, right? I want you to put in action that's going to be in direct conflict of that fear. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how do we overcome and make sure that thing that you're fearful of, that we've put all of the actions in place to ensure that we can be as successful as we humanly can. And then we're going to say, well, what happens if that fails? We're going to learn from it and figure out what we got to tweak to make it better next time. Okay? All right. So if you have a fear of a thing, identify what that thing is, put some goals around direct conflict of what that thing is, and then let's make sure that we are in the next steps, we're putting some actions against that. Cynthia had to drop. So She's on. Andrea, I'm gonna let you finish. You were saying no one knows me. You're an introvert, overwhelmed by the lack of marketing skills, and you were saying what?
Oh, the last one was I don't have the creative skill set to come up with ideas to draw in clients.
You don't have the creative.
Because I see people come up with all these different, like for flyers and different things to get people to show, and like that's cool, but my brain doesn't work that way.
And that's fair. Okay, so your block is that you don't feel like you have the creative to come up with the ideas. You're overwhelmed by your lack of marketing skills. You're an introvert and no one knows you. All right, so the constraints there, for the lack of marketing, that's a skill constraint, right? Creative, that's a skill constraint as well. No one knows you. Here, why do you feel like no one knows you?
Well, I mean, because I'm not visible in the community. It's the introvert thing. I mean, I go to networking events, but it's with people within the industry.
You mean
So
go to travel events, and I mean, people are not, they're already travel agents, or they're already, right?
right.
Yeah, okay. All right, those are all fair assessments, right? And everything that all of you ladies say, because there's no right or wrong answer in this area, right? Again, this is all about self-awareness and understanding what is preventing you from getting to the place that you do. That self-awareness is what these types of things are the things that sabotage our ability to achieve, right? So this is not you're wrong for feeling this way, or it's not. It's just an awareness activity. Be aware of it so that we can address it with actions and information to help remove these constraints and blockers out of our way. Okay. So I just want to say thank you, ladies, for sharing your items. Let's go to the next one. The next one is enablers. Is now we know what's blocking, right? What's a constraint? So the question that we want to ask ourselves now is, what do we need to help us overcome those blockers and constraints to help get us to success, right? So if we know that lack of skills, right? You're overwhelmed by your lack of marketing skills, Andrea. What do you need to be successful, right? That's what this enabler section is you say, okay, this thing I have, right? These are the things that are preventing me from success. This is what I need in order to change that around, right? So that's what we want to do here. And I'm giving you a couple of those things, particularly on the fear side. But this really, I'm going to tell you, for fear, particularly when it has something to do about, my bitches in my head, it's really about mindset work. It's really about changing the visual for my mind so that these girls in my head know that I can achieve the things that I feel like I don't deserve or that will happen. I'm not gonna lie. I just want to stress to you ladies how much fear for me held me hostage for so many years, and being able to move beyond that and through it, that I understand what that feels like personally. So, and it's still a constant battle, right? I've got a bunch of priorities that are, that are on my list of things to do. Time is never for me. So I get where you're talking about, but this next step is really about saying, what do I need to be successful? Do I need accountability? Do I need skills? Do I need training? Do I need just the I'm going to use a Jewish, the hoopsta, or I don't even know what that word is, the hoopla, or the gun-ho-ness to just walk through it and make it happen, and just, pray to God that I land on my feet and not my ass, right? What is it that you need to get you beyond this, right? That's what we're going to focus on right now. So here are some of the things that you can use. Is we talked about skills. You need resources. Miscellaneous things would be like equipment, right? For the longest time, one of the reasons why I would take forever to show up is because I needed a new computer. So I had to put that on my goals, as we were going to get a new computer for the business. You know, I needed some training the year before last, so I invested in a training coach to get some of the skills that I needed that I was missing. Maybe it's a support group. Maybe it's, you know, maybe it's help from your family, right? Maybe it's your husband or your spouse that you need to just maybe pick up the slack at home, right? For me, that was a big thing for me last year. So what is it that you need? And don't be afraid to write it down, even if you think that there's going to be some resistance on that person's part or whatever. Be super clear about what you need to be successful. All right. Do you guys have any questions on this one? Okay, I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes for this one because I have a sneaky suspicion you guys have a clear understanding of what you need. All right, so starting now. Okay, so how did everybody do with the enablers? Anybody not know what they need? Struggling with identifying what they need?
No.
Okay, Andrea, what do you need?
I said under the skills, I put training and marketing. For
Marketing.
people.
Huh?
I guess my host agency staff, reaching out to them more.
Say that again, Andrea.
I said reaching out to like my host agency staff as far as getting training on that side, because there's lots of stuff I still don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then using my BDMs better.
Okay. So resources, people.
And then I got stuck after that.
Okay. You know, I'm going to say this, and this is not directed to you, Andrea, this is directed to everybody in terms of marketing. One of the things that I find when I work with people and they talk about marketing is one of the enablers that I think people neglect to remember is budgeting for marketing. There's some fear there with spending money on marketing because they feel like it'll be a failure. So then they don't budget money for marketing. But the reality is if you want to see some success with marketing, you do need to expend some dollars. So one of the enablers that you may want to put there for all of you guys, if marketing is one of the things that you know that you need, is allocation of a budget for marketing dollars.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, what else did you have, Andre? Did you have anything else? I like all of those.
No, that's where I stopped.
Yep, those are all actionable too. Okay, Lorene, how about you?
No, what I need is I guess training on time management and uh I I'm trying to speak soft so my husband don't hear. Some support on his side.
Okay. Yeah, I have the same thing. Is your husband Caribbean as well?
No, he's not.
My husband's Caribbean, so I
I,
always think I need more support from him.
I am the Caribbean one.
Yes, okay. All right, anything else that you can think of?
Definitely improvement on my skill sets. But like Andrea spoke of, marketing, and I guess just being able to expose my business, so on the forefront, to be open for business, I should say.
Yep,
That's what I'm looking at.
I like that. Okay. All right, TT.
Um, I just have to stop procrastinating and get out there and see what everything I've done, how people react to it.
Well, that's not an enabler. What do you think you need to help you to stop procrastinating?
I think that is what will help me stop procrastinating, to just do it.
All right. All right, do you guys have any questions on this one?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. This one really is about resources, people, money, I mean, just resources in general. What do you need for your success? So the next one is steps. This is where the project manager in me loves, right? Because now we go and we say, all right, I need to get some marketing skills. Right? This is your action. This is your goal, right? This is your enabler. This is the thing that you need to do. Well, what are you going to do to make it happen, right? So this is the act of breaking it down into smaller steps. So it's not just that you say, I need to do this. Well, maybe step one is I'm going to identify marketing resources, right?
I got you down. I misunderstood.
Huh?
Got you down. I misunderstood the question.
Say that again, TT.
I said, I have you now. I misunderstood the question.
Oh, no problem. We're on step 6. So this is the next step that we're getting ready to work through. So the action plan is really about, okay, now I know I need to get some marketing skills, right? So what's the first step that I could do, right? Andrea mentioned that she can go to her host agency and look at the list of training that's available and start taking advantage of it, right? That would be step 1, is identification of what marketing training is available to her for free, right? In her immediate circle. That would be a step 1. Number 2 would be, let's identify the time frame of that and then get them scheduled or enroll in those classes, right? Step 3 would be to take the freaking class, right? And timetable it, right? So the action plan for step 6 is all about taking that particular goal that you have, breaking it down into steps so you know exactly what you need to do. So this is not about being vague. This is about okay, I'm going to use Lorraine's example. She knows that she wants to improve on time management, and what she's lacking is maybe a refresher or skills on how to effectively manage the time that she's got, right? So step one, identify a time management course. Step two, is it something that she's got let's say it's a paid course that she wants to take, right? Is maybe budgeting or saving for that. Number three would be to enroll in it, right? This is really about what detailed level things that you can do or obtain in order to achieve what it is that you do. There is no such thing as a goal that doesn't have action steps. Okay. So if you can't think of something to do to facilitate it, and it's not nebulous or unclear. I'm going to use TT's example. Stop procrastinating is nebulous, right? Well, what can she actually do in action steps to ensure that she stops procrastinating? Well, one of them, I'm going to use this as an example, is if you know you're procrastinating on the implementation of your quiz, step one is, right, make sure that the quiz is ready to go. Step two is make sure that you set up the Facebook ad to launch the quiz. Step three is, and you put a date on that, right? I'm going to have this Facebook ad set up by this date, or I'm going to send out the quiz to my existing email by this date, right? Number three is I'm going to take a look at the results of that, and I'm going to make adjustments to the quiz or the email series, step three, right? So if you've got some some goal, there are steps that you can take to implement it. So there should be no ambiguity on what it would require to get something done. And if it is, then we need to take a look at the goal, reward the goal so that we can get specific actions on that. All right. So take one or two of your goals now. I think I've got an example. No, I don't have an example, but I just gave you, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 examples. I'm going to give you some time to take one or two of your goals and let's blow it out into some actions that you can do. All right, time starts now. Okay. All right, how'd you guys do on this step, blowing out your actions?
Pretty good, I think.
Good. Andrea, since you said you're like, you're always the first person. I love that. What kind of actions did you come up with?
Okay, so the goal I put was to meet 8 new clients a quarter. So for action plans, I have pick a date for happy hour every quarter, pick a location for the happy hour, talk with manager about reserving space,
Yep.
pick a BDM to talk with about attending, and then scheduling it.
I love that. I love it. I love it. That's exactly. You get a gold star. Great. All right. And so, you know, one of the things that you can add to that too is, you know, marketing around your events, sending out invitations to past clients, existing or, you know, past or existing clients, social media marketing for your events. I mean, so these are additional things that you can add as actions for your event. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I love the BDM invitation because you could probably get them to host the happy hour. Yeah. So yeah, another thing too is collaborating with another travel agent too, on a happy hour. You know, and I say this because I just met with Dee Warren and you were at the DFW Lunch and Learn thing. She's doing quarterly events. I mean, so, you know, collaborating with other people and you guys hosting a big happy, you know, there's so many things that you can do in this space, right? So super excited. This is exactly what you need to be doing. Okay.
Okay.
All right, TC, you next. It's kind of
So some of the things you said, like I would, for my quiz, connect my email sequence to my quiz, release the quiz, invest in some Facebook ads to build my email list, contact some of my suppliers and BDMs to develop marketing plans for the products that I would like to sell, and come up with packages to market, and look for joint collaborations with like adventure companies or like an equipment store that sells like adventure supplies or things like that. And that's where I stopped.
those are great. I like that adventure, like local adventure equipment stores. You know, doing a partnership with them. The only thing I would ask you to do for the action items that you do is put some date. Like, I'm not saying like, you know, it's got to be March 15th, but put some timetable around those things. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think those are great. But that collaboration with local, you may even be able to get some groups potentially, talk to the local, I don't know, somebody who sells like kayaking or whatever equipment, golf equipment. Do they do, the owners of those stores, would they like to add as a product, group trips, and they become the group leader? I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can do in that space. And where I got this idea too, just TT, just as a side note, is because I was talking to the Uniworld BDM, and she is like more than willing to work with me to create group leader initiatives in my local area. You know, I personally don't have the time for that, but I know that people who are in my area, I always hook her up to them because she's a great BDM. I'm sure your BDMs are equivalent to whatever suppliers that you're working with too. Ask them, you know, this is what I want to do. How, you know, you've been in this space, you know who your target is for your product. How best can we collaborate to make this happen? Here's some of my ideas. What do you think? Would you be willing to help me, you know, maybe host an event, or, you know, talk to this business owner about creating a travel group event for his business or her business, right? Putting together a proposal. Your BDMs are really there to help you for that kind of stuff. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Lorraine, how about you?
For mine, I did to find out who my target audience are, the
Okay.
people who I need to sell to set aside some income to some money to help with marketing, and to do some more training on building, how to build and how to market my business, and to go to some events.
What kind of events?
So the company I with just had an event, and I actually had planned to go, but again, I couldn't make it. And I want to make sure that I can put that as a priority on my list, and don't miss another event. So it's more or less, within like a convention within our group itself.
Yeah, I understand. And so what happens too is when we, if you've got those kind of events, let me just say this, every time, even if you just make a goal to go and to reach out and connect to your BDMs, invite them for coffee. Most of the time they'll invite you for coffee or lunch or something, right? These people are willing to spend so much money on you guys because they just love us, right? They do. And it just like every time I meet with a BDM, I swear to God, I come back like, I'm gonna give up coaching and I'm gonna start selling again, right? Because I come back so invigorated from meeting with the BDMs because there's so much energy there with them. So even if it's not a large event, if you just reach out to your BDMs and if they are local to your area, make yourself go out with them, because that conversation is going to pump you up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage you guys just to do that. As many events that you can immerse yourself into in this business is going to help you stay motivated. And then, because this is a sort of an isolating type of business, because we work by ourselves. The only time is if you do any engagement on online or anything like this, but it really is a solo type of thing. And if you've got a job, you got a family, you got your life going on, it can be very easy to get demotivated or just let it fall to the wayside. So I like that, Lorene, that you say to go to some events to get yourself out of the house and around people who are in this industry so that you can stay connected and motivated by that. That energy does work. All right. Okay, that's exercise 6. Any questions before we move on? We're almost done. All right, so the last one is schedule it. So this is my personal weekly planner. This is actually one page of it. And so what I mean by schedule it is now you've made these items, you've identified the what of what you need to do, you've identified the goal, you've identified what you need to be successful, you've identified the action steps associated with it. Now, the only thing to do is to put it on your calendar. And I literally mean put it on your calendar. Like, don't just put this stuff out there and put it in this notebook or this Word book, and then you don't schedule it, because this last step is the thing to ensure that you've made room for it in your life. So, Andrea, I like the fact that you said you want to have a happy hour every quarter. Step 7, get your calendar out and put it on the calendar. When are you going to do it in first quarter? Is it January, February, March? Which day of the week you're going to do, right? Even if you don't have the location, but put it on your calendar. Put on your calendar that you're going to, schedule the planning of your happy hours, right? So let's say you're going to have the happy hours on January. So put on your schedule in December that you're going to plan out. It's going to take you maybe 2 hours to plan out the happy hours for 2020 or for the first quarter, and you put that on your calendar every time that event needs to happen. This is the most important part of the goal, setting your goals, is making room for it in your life, right? So it's one thing to state it, put all the action items, and then if you just put this workbook away, put it on your calendar, it's not going to get done. right? Life's going to happen. You're going to look up, it's going to be Thanksgiving. You're going to look up, it's going to be Christmas. You're going to look up, it's going to be New Year. You'll be like, where the hell's that work book? I think I did something. And then you're going to just forget about it, right? So if you know walking is something that you want to do, right? Put it on your calendar. What time of the day are you going to walk? 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't care what the time is, make room for it in your life. That is the key to the success of all of this. Say it, do it, and create the space for it, right? And adjust, right? So I think Cynthia was saying that she's got this daily planner and every day she's going to do, you know, she's going to write down what it is that she does, right? Well, what if she skips a day, right? And then we get on ourselves and we think, oh crap, I'm not, you know, I didn't do it this day. I didn't do it that day, right? So forget it. I'm just not going to do it anymore, right? Adjust. Maybe every day is not what you do. Maybe you just sit down once a week and you plan out what you want to do and you make adjustments there, right? Continual improvement is what you should be after, not perfection, right? You want to make room. If it doesn't, move it to another space in the calendar if you couldn't get it done there, right? Just keep at it. Just keep making the adjustments. Goals are not about perfection. It's about making the room, knowing what you need to do, celebrating your success, and then adjusting along the way. Okay? Now, do each of you have a planner?
Yes. Not yours, but I have one.
Oh, it doesn't have to be mine. Lorraine, do you have a planner? Huh? Lorraine, do you have a planner? If you're talking,
I'm sorry, I put you on mute. I was answering. I'm like, yes, I do. I do.
what about you, TT? Do you have a planner?
I do.
Okay, make that a goal for you to get a planner. There's nothing now, you know, if you're an online person, you can do the online. And I used to be a huge online plan, you know, trying to do everything. But there is something about the power to pen to paper. So literally, I have this. I was actually, it's on my list of things to do the design to make this an annual, so I could just go send it to the printer. But I print this out. I print it out every month. I print out, you know, 4 or 5 of these every week, and I schedule out my to-do list, and everything fits in this space, right? Whatever you need, you know, if it's a physical planner, if you're using it online, whatever you do, just make sure that you've got something that you can take these action items that you've just developed and you can put them on your planner and put them in a spot, right? Once it's on my planner, I don't worry about it anymore because I'm only doing stuff that's on my planner. And if I'm doing something that's not on my planner, I get myself all out of whack. So every time I stop following my planner, that's when I create chaos in my life. So I just stop creating the chaos and I just follow my planner. I actually take time at the beginning of every week. I usually do it on Saturdays or Sundays, and I plan out the week. And then every day I take a look at what I have, and if anything that's come up that wasn't originally on the plan, I either add it and make adjustments accordingly. And that's how I live my life, right? So I will go through this exercise for 2020 myself. I've been writing down my own things, right? I'll go through the exercise, I'll prioritize things, and these will be the major goals that we'll achieve in my business, my personal life. And then I will set out with my big annual planner, plan out those things, and every month, every week, and every day I'll go through it, and I'm constantly making adjustments, right? So this is not a one-time and done it type of activity. This is an ongoing activity that you're going to be doing throughout the year. And then, you know, at the end of the year, I like to make major adjustments. Like not at the end of the year, middle of the year, I make major adjustments. Like, okay, well, I've been tracking to this. How have I been doing? Maybe I need to make some adjustments. Maybe I need to be more aggressive. Maybe I've hit the goals that I want. I need to adjust the goal higher or lower or whatever. The idea is that it's continual, right? The last thing I want you to do is create your action steps such that you are often celebrating the fact that you accomplished something. So don't create the goals and the action steps so far in advance that you end up derailing yourself because you don't get the opportunity to celebrate. So let's say you set a quarter goal, right? Make sure you've got some incremental monthly and even or weekly goals so that you can celebrate the success. Andrea, I'm gonna use you in mine example, right? Walking, I wanna do this marathon. Well, my goal is to start walking in my neighborhood, you know, once a week. I'm going to do that on, you know, Tuesdays, right? Whatever that day is, right? And if I do it on Tuesday, you better doggone well, I'm going to have something to celebrate for it, right? Even if it's just announcing it to my friends, telling my mom, you know, going out, not having an ice cream cone, but maybe, you know, I don't know, some diet cookies. I don't know what it is, but you just celebrate. That's the point, is don't make it so far in advance that you don't get to celebrate the wins. That is what, there's several things that derail us from our goals, but one of them is they're too long. That's one of them. And then we get discouraged. Two, we don't make room for it in our life, and we forget about them. So we're not constantly thinking about them. Three, we don't acknowledge the things in our life that will derail us and plan accordingly, right? So for example, I know that I want to have 6 trips this year for vacation, you know, vacation or out of town things in my life. And that is going to be something that will derail a diet for me, right? So I need to plan around those to ensure that I set goals for that. So during my trips, my goal is not to gain any weight during the trip, right? And then to ensure that I already have the food that I buy the week I come back from the trip, so I don't get out of whack. And I'm like, I don't want to eat that, right? It's already there. It's already in my refrigerator. And I just pick up where I left off from when I get back from the trip, right? So that's examples of how you make sure that you put actions in place to address your blockers and your constraints. All right, ladies, do you guys have any questions about what we went over today?
I don't.
No. How was this for you? Was it helpful? Do you feel like you've got what you need to now blow this out for the rest of your goals and really sit down and get your goals documented for yourself and then planned out?
Yes, I do.
You do? Good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Did you say something, Lorraine? Do you feel good about this?
Oh yeah, I do. Yes.
Okay, good. TT, you too, right?
Yep.
Okay, so here's the action item. That's the last slide. Here's our action item. We've got a group coaching call at the end of the month. Lorraine, you and I are meeting for the next three or 4 weeks. I'm going to talk to you offline about your next steps with our meetings. But for our group coaching call, if you guys want to talk any more about your goals, we can do that in that group coaching call. If you have any questions or something comes up that you want to talk to me privately about, feel free to message me. What I really would love to see for you guys is that you've got your goals identified with action plans ready to start January 1 for you by the end of this month, so that you can make any tweaks in December and you go into the holidays like already know what you got to get done.
Sunday.
Yes.
Is there any where on the website or in the group that we can listen to past group coaching calls?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, there is. Where is it? I think inside of the membership on Marketing Boss Academy, there is a group coaching call lesson, and it's called Group Coaching Call.
Okay.
Now, I'm behind in uploading 2 of them, so I got to do that. I'm going to do that today. I didn't upload the last one and the one before that, so I will upload those 2. But there's a class in the Marketing Boss Academy, and it's called Group Coaching Calls, and you all should have access to it. And if there was if there was something to be said, I uploaded. So like I said, I've got 2 that I've got to upload today, and I'll do that today. Okay. All right. So this is actually a class that you guys should have access to. So I'm going to upload this video into the class. I'll download it, upload it. The workbook is also there in the class. So you just look under 2020 group goal setting. I think that's the name of the class. And this video will be there in Marketing Boss Academy for you to look through. Okay. All right, ladies. Hey, it was a pleasure working with you guys. Like I said, let's utilize the rest of this year to blow out the rest of your goals. If you have any questions or you need any help in any of that, let me know. But let me tell you this, because I do think that there was some consistency in what you guys said, which was marketing training, like general marketing training. This year, we did Travelpreneur Foundations. And let me tell you what I'm thinking about doing, and let me know if you guys are interested in that. Part of Travelpreneur Foundations included the second half of the class, which was about creating a stranger offer, and then creating a Facebook ad, learning Facebook ads, and marketing that stranger offer so that you can consistently get new email leads into your business based on your stranger offer. That was part of Travelpreneur Foundation. That's about 8 weeks worth of a class. Would you guys be interested in investing in that portion of training?
I don't know.
Trying to think. I said, I think I got one of those. I'm trying to think.
So what this class would do is it would, let me tell you what the class is about. What the class does is it teaches you, Titi, you already have your stranger offer. I don't know if you know about Facebook ads or not, but it would teach you how to create a stranger offer, right? You know, whatever your document, your video, whatever, we talk about that. We also learn about how to create the landing page. So the sales page to go along with your stranger offer. We talk about how to create the Facebook ad, the actual text in the Facebook ad, set up the Facebook ad. We launch the Facebook ad, and then we track it and make any modifications to the ad such that you're getting constant leads from the ad. So the biggest thing with Facebook ads is targeting and that kind of stuff. That's what that part of the course would be about. Okay.
If the Facebook ads, can you buy those separately, or are they inside the course?
Yeah, no, I actually have Facebook ads training separately, and I'm probably going to do a Facebook ads class that's separate as well. I have it recorded, but my experience is that there's so many questions and there's so many changes with Facebook ads that I need to do it. I always need to do that class live. Because people just need so much support on that. So what I can do, because I'm almost done with the 2020 schedule. If you guys are interested in Facebook ads, I can launch that in first quarter. But the thing with Facebook ads is that you need something to launch, right? So Titi, you already have your stranger offer built. You already have your email series built. So you just need the ads part of it, right? Andrea, Lorene, I don't know where you guys are on that, if you already have your landing page and all of that built, but that's the reason why that whole class is together, is to be able to, and let's just say, for example, it's not a stranger offer, it's an event, and you want to be able to market the event. It can be fill in the blank, whatever you want to market to start to build your email list through Facebook ads. That's what the crux of the class is.
I think I've done that because you looked at my welcome. I don't think I've.
Yeah. Say it again.
I said you've looked at my the email series or whatever, because you reviewed it, and I think I haven't completed the stranger offer itself, because I know you had a class posted on that
Yep,
I have.
I did do a stranger offer class. Yep.
Mm.
So you guys,
So that's where I am.
where are you guys? You said you think Facebook ads is what you think you want to do next?
Me?
Huh?
Oh, no, I gotta finish the stranger offer first.
Okay. All right. So then put that down as one of your goals, right? So when you talk about you overwhelmed by the lack of marketing skills, you have the skills, right? So your goals should be to finish, one of your goals should be to finish your stranger offer.
Okay.
Right? Finish the stranger offer, right? I don't know if you have a landing page for that, but build the landing page for it, right? Get the email series for it, get it all connected so that you can then start driving traffic to it.
Okay.
Same thing, TT, for you, right? So I've seen your stranger offer. I've seen your email series. I think I've seen your email series, didn't I, TT?
Yeah, but you told me that I needed to add more, you wanted to be a little more personal.
And I kind of wanted to call to action that's having them do something with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you guys have all the components, just then finish those out. Let's get them final. Let's set some target dates for you guys to do that. And then the next thing would be is how do we get people visible to it on autopilot, right? And before you even do autopilot, what are you doing to get people, what are you doing for free to get people visible to it? So for example, one of the things that I should see you guys doing is the header of your business pages should have download my freebie. That's the one thing you can do right now, is create an image in your header of your, you know, that space that's at the top. So instead of a pretty picture of some beach, it should be your stranger offer with a picture of you and the name of your stranger offer and a button that says click now to download my stranger offer. It should be in the salutation of your email. It should be every time you're on a site and somebody says, you know, I want this, well, go download my stranger offer, right? This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. You can be doing every single day. And as a goal is, maybe one of the goals is that you've personally given out your stranger offer link to, you know, 5 people. I like that goal. Put that down. I want you all to have that goal. Right. So it's not always paid, but it is always the forefront. And a stranger offer is non-evasive, right? You're not asking anybody to buy anything. You're not asking anybody to spend money. You're asking them to give them a piece of information that would be valuable to them, right? Based on your understanding of what they're interested in, right? So look for opportunities on how you can hand out the link to your stranger offer. I like that one. You guys like that one? I really like that one.
Wrote it down.
Huh?
I said I wrote it down.
Yes. I mean, I had a goal when I first started coaching for travel agents, is that I wanted, I didn't have any other product but my stranger offer. It was my guide, right? And I wanted, every single time I talked to somebody, it was like, have you downloaded my guide? Sunday I found you and I was like, well, have you downloaded my guide? So before I even think about it, I want them on my email list. I want them on my email list. I want them in my group. So I want them liking my page, right? So these are things that you can do that don't cost you any money, right? You need somebody, you know, you're shy or an introvert. You know what? I created a guide that I think that you would really like, right? Create an easy bit.ly that you can remember, and then you just give that out, right? Here's a link to my my guide, or whatever it is your stranger offer. Here's a video I did. Here's this that I did, right? These are non-evasive ways for people to get you to get in front of them. And that's what I want you guys to focus on. So before we even start Facebook ads and you start thinking about spending money, how are you giving away, and what processes do you have in place to start giving away your stuff naturally? I want to see by the end of the year, if you have a stranger offer already done, I want to see on your Facebook business page a banner that tells people to click on it. And if you don't know what that looks like, let me update my business. You guys know what that looks like. I have them on all my banners, right? You guys know what that looks like, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Andre, you know what that looks like. TT, you know what that looks like, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Change out your banners by the end of the year. That's my goal to you guys. Change out your banners with the link to your stranger offer.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. I love action items at the end. So that's your only goal for this year, is to get your stranger offers done, your email series, and a link in your banner to your stranger offer. And I think my banners are already, I think all my banners have a link to something. If not, I will make sure today all of my pages have a link to some offer for people to download so that you have that as a representation. Okay, ladies, it has been great meeting with you this Saturday afternoon. Any questions, you know where to reach me, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your weekend, okay?
Thanks, Sundey. Have a good weekend.